Air temp. Idle speed. Who does idle speed with boost and a supercharger? Wouldn't it be nice? Anyone doing it properly has some idle speed. Yeah, good. It actually looks, Jace, like you've got this loom ready. What are you doing taking the silicone off?
Oh, that's right, we leave it on and put more on top of it, eh?
Yeah, and you've got to make sure it goes down the intake as well. You've got to spread it into the supercharger.
It helps seal the supercharger.
It could cushion the rotors in the supercharger.
Yeah, well, let's just take out the extra stuff.
Yeah. Good plan.
Yeah.
It actually looks like you've done an absolutely gorgeous job in here. Look at this. We've got some wires here.
Yep.
So this is going to go for relays and fuses. And our fuel pressure, because you couldn't put it over here.
What you need, blank.
I've got to blank that one. Oh, that's because that is his rail, so we better blank that.
Yeah. This injector's a little bit, this plug's a little bit hard to put on. There's some rails in the way.
Oh yeah, okay.
It does go on. It just, once it's on, it's on. It's just hard to get it to that position.
Okay. So you have to unbolt the fuel rail to put the injector plug on. Oh yeah, you got it.
It's just a little bit difficult. Once you click it on, it's very difficult to remove it.
Okay. There's the joys of having fuel rails like this. I think at some point it might be nice to put like a braided one along.
Well, we don't know if this works yet.
That's right, we don't know if that works.
It might be a temporary. Oh wow.
Are you getting good at these sensors? These sensor plugs, those pressure sensors?
Am I getting good at them?
Yeah.
I'm getting better at them, yes. I don't know if I'm
good. Have you plugged one into this one?
No.
Probably want to do that. Right, look at this. So what we did is we did ray chem until it comes through the firewall. There's the grommet, and then we've gone into braid. It seems really, really long for me, but it sort of wraps around and tucks into a kind of a factory spot inside the cabin. It's quite a long way in. So we've done as much as we possibly could on the bench because it's much easier and faster to do this job on the bench.
They got silicone around here too.
They got silicone everywhere. Should we actually see if there's oil in the supercharger? We probably should, eh? With a special adapter they've got there.
I'm actually scared to do that.
In this department here, we put the factory spark plug covers back in and bolt them in, and it just prevents it from touching on the cam wheel. It's looking lovely. Would it be nice to do some normal wiring looms without doing this custom stuff all the time? Or would that just be boring?
What's the normal wiring loom?
Yeah, what's it? Nah, don't do it, do we? Everything is custom. Everything is custom made for the customer's requirements.
I started doing tried to do one out of like stream or something of my one, and I've ended up with it like, I'm just gonna do it wire. Be fast. Just easier.
It's just because we do so much. Everything is custom. Everything's just different to everything else we've done. Right.
I'm also trying to put mine under the intake manifold like I did last time.
Yep.
But someone took the pipe out from underneath the intake manifold that I had the loom tied to.
Oh, all right. Yep.
Now the loom has nothing to sit on.
You could have done the same with this.
What's that?
Run the injector loom underneath the intake manifold. It's impossible to take out without taking the charger off. See, this one you can't even get the rails out. We'll have to check clearances in here, eh? There's actually no advantage to have meat under here. So you could probably grab the sander and take some material out to know that it's right.
You know, once it's bolted down, I think it's okay, but they're just a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to check all that.
This gasket here, under this manifold, this one here.
Yes.
That's going to be fun to make again.
Yep, well, if it needs to be made, we've got to make one. That's what it takes, that's what it takes. Were you no good with scissors at kindergarten?
No, they wouldn't allow me with scissors.
Sometimes I understand why. So next for us, it's relays and fuses, and then into the car. We haven't configured it, we haven't run it on old Yeller because we haven't put the belt setup on, and there's gaskets and sealant and stuff like that, so we don't want to be doing jobs twice. We've just used old Yeller as a mock-up, and then into the Prado it goes.
He's just scared that old Yeller might handle boost.
It wouldn't, no, it'd throw the rods out of it and throw the bearings out of it and rattle it to pieces. How's your relationship with silicon going?
We will, I'll say words that are not suitable for YouTube. Guys, there's no need to have silicon.
And how did you like the silicon on the bottom of the manifold, on the lip, underneath, inside? It was everywhere, eh? Just everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like... I was a little bit uncertain of why it was under there though.
We're about to set the manifold back on. Of course, we're going to put the water bridges on. We've got some new gaskets, like normal, just the normal stuff. But this one, the manifold's not normal. I have one of the gaskets. And we were paying attention to where there's corrosion, and for corrosion to get in, it means that it isn't bolted down, it isn't sitting down tight. Well, that's inconvenient. That's a really noisy fan belt on the tractor.
Yes. I'm surprised those tractors haven't got one used into them yet.
Yeah. So, for corrosion, as I was saying, is to get the corrosion in here, it isn't bolted down tight. And we're looking at the surfaces in here, and just in here it's really, really close to where it may not have been sealing properly. So we're just looking at that. We put some grease on here. We're going to put it on there and see how it looks. Right, let's pop it on, Jace. I want to get it straight down if I can, and not falling off my drum.
Look on the legs go.
It's got a bit of flop, eh, with that slotted holes. So when it gets to there, it doesn't move around too much. The back can still move, but the front can't. It isn't welded straight, hey?
No. That's what it's slotted the holes, and it's not. See how they don't come right to the edge?
Yeah.
The other manifold comes right to the edge of the normal one. So
well, I don't really need to know that little particular detail. I don't. This is not something I actually need to know.
Well, guess what? You now know it.
I now know it.
We both now know the some pieces of information
Because of this situation, yeah.
because of this problem.
Let me just have a look at this one. You're right, Jace. Absolutely, it comes right to the edge of the top of that area and even overhangs it almost. Yep.
I don't think it was leaking, but it has potential if you got it wrong.
Okay.
More silicon.
More silicon. Yeah, so it's actually, the runners are sitting that way down.
Yeah.
By, this side's quite a lot. Like 3 to 4 millimeters. You missed some silicon at the back, Jace. And under here, you missed the silicon underneath this lip, like under here.
No, I didn't miss it. It wasn't coming off, so I left it there.
Amazing where they got the silicon. Right, let's lift this off and see how it's actually sitting. Again, we need to, if I just reach my hand under and I just go straight up, and you grab it.
They look like it touched.
Doesn't touch.
Mm.
Whole one side.
It does when you bolt it down, but
No touching. There's a little bit, the gasket itself makes a little bit of difference because it's a set thickness of gasket. How well would a normal manifold sit onto a block? So if we wiped it and we put a normal manifold onto it and see how it compares. Let's do that.
Just because we've got no manifold on it, right?
Well, I had one here this morning and I put it away. There'll be plenty. We're doing a supercharger update?
Yeah, it's on the floor.
It's floor mounted.
Yep.
Well, I didn't want it to fall off the bloody bench because that would be bad. That would be really bad if it smashed itself onto the floor. Thought I'd better do an update on this supercharged Prado and bits and pieces that we've found and sorted. We now have the intake manifold on, and there's a top plate ready to go on, but we are waiting on some new bolts because the heads on these ones were very poor condition, and we actually want to be able to service it in the future and take it apart. While we're waiting for bolts, of course there's plenty to do. So Jason has removed, that didn't use that rubber grommet, that was kind of shitty, and we've put in a new one right there and fed the wiring loom inside the cabin. So if you remember before, there was a wire going through there was a coil of wire in this glove box, and when we opened this there was just wiring everywhere. What we've got left to find where that one goes, heads off that way. There's a taco wire to connect, and the ECU is mounted. It's up there. Let's see if we can see it. Can we see it? That there is the link ECU sitting in place. Jason's going to use a little bit of foam, tuck a bit of foam up under here, and that's the ECU sorted. You can see the wiring loom comes in quite nicely in braid. That's the old original ECU plug. There's a wire, a couple of wires I've got to do some stuff with in there, and then that'll be tucked out of the way, and it's all nice and neat and tidy. And then, not that you can actually see it, of course, I'll put it in the right way, eh? Then of course this insert goes back in, and it's neat and tidy and lovely like it should. Much better. This was the fuel pump earth to the dash. Yep, that really why it went. The new fuel filter's going in, sorting up the lines and bits and pieces, making that nice and tidy. There's our new fuse unit, and then we're going to hook in and get some of this body wiring sorted, which isn't the most fun. The intake tube that the throttle body bolts to has been wrinkle black to get rid of some of the ugliness from prior, and the new idle speed unit has been, the fitting has been welded on. Throttle body had been previously modified, so that stuff is ready to go on once we receive the bolts for the supercharger plate. Jace?
Yeah.
And they've got bigger bolts at the back here, eh?
Yes. Got a cut.
You've got to cut those bolts down, eh? That was it. So Jace has glued the manifold back on. It does have that, of course, that O-ring, but he's put a bead of silicone around the outside as well. We checked clearance with the fuel rail, and there's just clearance on that side. All new bolts with heads that aren't stripped. And as you can see, once that supercharger goes on, we cannot get the fuel rails out of this engine. Do you think it'd be worth powering up that fuel pump, checking fuel system for leaks?
Yeah. There was a thought, and it came, and it went, and then it came, and then your brother came and wanted me to weld something.
And that's pretty scary when he asks you to weld stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very scary.
It's very scary.
That's desperation.
It is desperation.
It doesn't look, there's not like silicone everywhere like the last time. Like hanging out of stuff.
I wonder if I don't know if I put enough on.
Yeah, that might be the problem. You might need a lot more. And so you've got to spanner the bolts on. You can't get your ratchet in there. You can't get your rattle gun.
No.
No.
I've got to put the fucking gonzo tube on before I put it on.
Those rotors have got a bit of a coating off, eh?
Yeah.
You're stinky.
Yeah, looky, don't.
Stinky. I can't climb the ladder because there's a supercharger on it.
Doesn't feel bigger. There it goes.
There it goes. That petrol's very stinky, eh? I'm not seeing any issues around any injector. Got a match. We'll chuck a match over it, see if it catches fire.
No, I'm going to double the wire up, it's getting a bit warm.
You were running on just a single wire.
Yeah.
So that was just the one wire on the... We're also pumping 60 psi, Jace.
What's dripping down there? Let's see it drip.
Oh, yep. Oh, that's by that fuel filter. Well done. Okay.
I might set the fuel filter.
Yeah, let's crank that fuel filter up.
What was it at the front?
No, it was that back one.
Does it mean 60 psi?
Yeah, 60 psi. Oh. We can probably drop it back now.
Yeah, I've actually got a pump that actually does something.
Yeah, it actually sounds like it's flowing lots of fuel to the back, doesn't it? That was worth checking before we put that supercharger on. Oh yeah, that took a bit, didn't it? Is that back one? Does it need my hand to hold that inlet pipe nicely?
That's right. Oh, that's where it goes around. I would like that to be about there, please, sir. So jam your hand in there.
Yep, you jam my hand. Here's your opportunity to jam my hand. Let's do it. How'd that go? Heavy? What pressure you reckon? 40? 45? Want some pressure off that spring? Here, let me get in there with a rag.
That didn't sound good. Is that no fuel pressure?
It's got no fuel pressure.
Something's been popping the back.
Jason has been busy. The charger is fitted. The map sensor has fitted. It actually looks really good right there. I'm actually really quite impressed by that. It came up really nice. Idle speed unit is fitted. We've got to find a tight hose here. And we're ready to put the belt on. And this belt is extremely tight, so we're pretty much prying it on. Means the tension is pushed all the way back. We're just working on the idler here at the moment. It's just a flat, smooth idler. There's no guides. It really needs a guide. And to adjust it, there's washers in the back of there to try to get it to line up correctly. We've had the straight edge out. Right, let's do this. It's looking much better. That really needs some guides each side, eh? Guides would be the trick on that one. Where's the tensioner set? Way back past where it should be. Shouldn't get any slippage though.
No.
Right, good. Good stuff. Woo! Nearly fell off my barrel.
That would have been a barrel of fun.
That actually looks nice on that side now, doesn't it? That ugly alternator wiring has gone. I do think that the massively long power steer high pressure line's really quite interesting.
I'm not changing that.
But it kind of works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's a way nicer job, Jace.
Then I'm going to cover it with an airbox.
This one doesn't have a cooler of any line time for the power steer, does it? No. Oh, it's just got that big long bar thing. It does have that steel.
Yeah, the big long power steering line.
Big long, yeah. What Jace did up in here was he just grabbed a 6-pin plug, 6 on one side, 3 on the other to the alternator, job done, and it hides the other wires and contains them nicely.
This is annoying.
Do we need a P-clamp or something?
Alright.
It's looking pretty good over there, and gravity's working.
Yep.
That definitely hit the floor.
Yep. I know, I might turn this coast clamp around the other way. Zip tight in it there, I think.
I should actually do an explanation of how to wire alternators at some stage, eh? To do it properly. Be a good idea.
Oh, you mean that's not proper?
No, that's lovely.
No, that's not done properly. Is that how
No,
you do it?
that's not how you do it. You don't join sense and ignition and together, no. And you don't do ugly solders, no. I probably should do a proper one, proper video.
No, that's correct. That's how you do it. Just have that wire exposed.
Yep. So we're definitely at the pointy end of the stick.
It's just this stuff.
You've got rid of that black wire that was the reverse lights. You've sorted that. You're doing that at the moment.
Yeah, I just got to do the inside. That loom's done. It's plugged in.
And you've tidied up that reverse loom. It's quite neat and tidy and tucked away. That's much nicer. Actually, you can hardly see it.
It would have been a lot tidier if I could find a smaller piece of
Conduit.
Oh,
yeah. It looks good like that.
Just going to zip tie that.
Yep.
Up there.
Ready for relays and fuses to go down in there. It's going to look lovely. It's like a whole new truck, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got the breather for you too. The breather pipe.
Cool.
I got it out for you.
This one.
You got a whole lot of bolts left over, eh?
Yeah.
Always the way when you do these jobs. You end up with all these bolts. This one.
Doesn't he? I'm going to put it on.
Slip it on gently. Factory PCV valve hose onto the supercharger fits perfectly. Look at that.
It's a bit of a stretch, but does it?
That's perfect.
It's a little bit of a stretch, but...
Unfortunately, the block radiator went back in on instruction from the customer. I disagree. I'm hoping it's not going to get hot. I wonder if the new pump the other pump I've got there is the same part number.
Yep.
And what hoses with it.
Where's it?
It's in the office. We'll go pull it apart, eh? That was our balloon popping the other day when we were firing it up. Absolutely our balloon popping.
It's the same hose.
That's the same hose. That's not so good, eh? Get on the phone, ring the supplier, have a chat.
I'm gonna try to put a zip tie on.
With your fat fingers? Good luck.
You know, instead of fucking filming, you could actually give me a fucking hand, eh?
Sorry, okay, no problem.
I wouldn't put that there. I wouldn't say it.
You would like a hand?
Are you a smart ass?
You'd like a hand? How the hell am I going to get my hands in there as well?
You don't have to get your hands in there. You can hold that.
You let me hold that?
Yeah.
Like this? Is this helpful?
It might be good.
Would you like me to get my little hands in there? So this is way too high for me anyway, I can't really see. You're trying to push it down. Get the hose clamp on nice.
No.
Let me get in there. Let me get in there.
I don't have this.
Where am I trying to put it?
Around the body of the pump.
Around the body of the pump.
Around, you know, just
I
to,
see.
just to hold it there, you know?
Yep, got it. I reckon we need a longer zip pipe to start.
Shake him! Because, you know.
Have we got some big long ones?
I don't know. That's getting carried away, but okay.
We make the loop.
The loop.
We make it the loop. We put the loop into the fuel tank. Go around the pump.
And move it like this. Make it. Just give you a knock that filters off. Just give it the gasket.
How do you do?
Close enough.
Close enough? Is that how it's done? Is that how it's done? Are you going to cut the zip tie off? Oh, now you're getting really fussy.
My luck, we leave it on there and the fuel seemed to come up and get caught up on it and then fucking full tank for 6 months.
Alright, very good then.
I don't want to take this tank out again.
No. Lucky I had spare fuel hose. You got both wires together? Mm. Why? Because it runs lots of amps. You want me to watch that regulator? Yeah. The regulator. It's 40 psi right there.
40? No. Leave it there then. The pump sounds a bit happier too.
The wire's not getting hot. I just hope this radiator doesn't explode, eh? I'm not very happy about the past air pump, but there's already fluid dropping off the alternator. So the alternator, if the past air pump doesn't get fixed, the alternator's going to fail. It will fail. It's not an if. Looks good. Draw some current on startup, eh?
It's quite good noisy, isn't it?
Woo!
There's 9 litres of fuel in it.
Right, it'll be cushion it with a bit more fuel. That's good.
I don't want to put all the fuel in it just in case I decide to.
Good stuff. Moving forward.